Welcome to the Mining Mum podcast. I'm Tegan, your host, and this is a podcast where I interview mining and resource professionals about their tips, tricks, and insights into the industry. So whether you're a seasoned veteran or trying to enter into the industry, this is the place to get some career inspiration. Welcome back to the Mining Mum podcast. I'm Tegan, your host, and today I have Kate with me. Kate is the Director of EK Contracting and also the President of Sandon WA. So thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
So good. We're here at the yard and we're about to also go through and have a look at some of the machines, which we'll take you through as well. So let's jump into, how did you guys start your company?
So a very long time ago, in another world, I was a teacher. I grew up in Port Hedland. I was born in Port Hedland, so all I know is mining. And my husband came home one day, he worked in mining too, and said, I'm going to start a civil hire business. It can't be that hard. And I just looked at him and went, okay, whatever. And then fast forward 13 years and we've gone from a hire company to a multifaceted business. We do civil, mine, transport, training, mechanical services. We just branched out into industrial services, got our first king so back, good. 11,000, yes. And yeah, we can offer a range of integrated services, for projects, mining solutions, all those kinds of things. We've got offices in Bunbury, up in Port Hedland, and then here in Waterlap, and just service tier 1 mining companies, and then other large civil contracting companies. We've done some big projects in the Pilbara, also down south. Yeah.
Amazing. And so how did you guys go from this dream of, your husband coming home and saying,
dream.
I'm starting this, to then, the growth that you've had over those 13 years? How did you know it was right to start the next thing?
I don't think it's ever right to start the next thing. I think we knew that we were going to fail. I think that's how we ended up here. We don't expect to get there. Like we know that we're going to try something new and we're going to fail at it. But then if we keep persisting, we will get there. So look, failure is not a bad thing, right? Like on my absolute best day, I think 30% goes right and 70% still goes wrong. On a normal day, 10% goes right and 90% goes wrong. Like just yesterday, I was taking my kids somewhere. We were in the car, we were about to drive off, and I got a phone call that someone was stuck at the gate and couldn't get on site. And I had to just turn the car off, go back inside, and for 45 minutes put all my attention into that, right? And the kids, they're used to this kind of stuff now. I remember we went to school for my little one. It was, mummy and daddy come to school day, and we backed a truck up and they all came out and, looked around the truck and tried on high vis and
so cool.
all those kinds of things. And one of the teachers said, Donnie, like, what does mummy do? And he's like, she's just always on her phone. And I was like, oh my goodness, I am. But look, they're learning that things don't come easy. They hear our conversations and sometimes they pick up on our vibes, and, that they know, but we instill in them that nothing's easy, but with hard work and determination, you can get somewhere. But also that failure is your friend.
Yeah.
Right? Like that 90-10 is how you have to approach life. And I think that we probably never would have been as successful as we are today if we hadn't learned to make friends with failure.
That's awesome. That's such a good takeaway. How do you guys juggle, with the kids, both of you being in a business?
Yeah.
How do you make time for yourselves?
So there's no time for myself. There's definitely no time for myself, but we share, and by share, I still mean it's 90-10. I do 90%, Theo does 10. But, he'll pick the kids up and I'll stay and work late. He comes in really early, so I get them ready for school. We've never used before and after school care. It's something that we as parents, and it's no disrespect to the parents that use it, but it's just something that we haven't wanted to do with our children. It's a juggling act, right? And have I made mistakes and forgot to order my kids lunch and they haven't eaten all day? Yes. Have I sent them to school in the wrong coloured shirt? Yes. But it's just, you know, it's just life.
Yeah.
Embrace the chaos and again know that, you know, things will go wrong and you just have to roll with it.
Yeah.
And just roll with the punches. And, you know, I'm not about, don't get me wrong, like I'm not about like not feeling the frustration and not feeling the anger and not feeling the hurt and the resentment and all those things that go wrong. Definitely not advocating for toxic positivity. Like if you don't know what that is, go and look it up, because there's someone in my life that is very toxically positive and it drives me insane. It's just about, you know, it's just knowing that things will go wrong. And I think if you've got that mindset, then when things do go right, then you keep pushing the boundaries and you keep exploring how much further you can take things. And okay, well, that worked. So now let's go for a bigger contract. Okay, we won this award. So now let's go and try and win this award. Okay, I've started this business. So now starting Sandon really isn't that scary because I've done, you know, all these other things. And, you know, okay, we trusted this person and that didn't work. So let's try and trust this person, or let's try a different approach, or let's restructure this, or let's restructure that, so that we can get optimization out of the business and those kinds of things. So we're constantly evolving, constantly thinking, what else can we, you know, what can we change? If that's not working, what else can we do? My oldest son's obsessed with firefighters, and I tell him, Mummy's a firefighter. He's like, what do you mean, Mummy? I'm like, Mummy puts out fires all day. It's what it's like. If this problem comes out, okay, put it out. Next problem. All right, let's, sometimes I need different extinguishers for the different problems, but yeah, that's basically how
that's your life
we roll.
Every day. I love it.
Yeah.
And how important has it been to choose the right people to help your business grow?
It's super important, obviously. But look, you can't always pick the right people.
Yeah.
And I suppose this is one of my areas that I need to develop. I want to see the best in everybody. I believe in everybody. I think that everybody's fantastic, and the reality is they're not. And I suppose that's one of Theo's strengths, is that he's very practical. Like he's like, okay, well, if it's not working, we just have to, you know, move. We have to, you know, divert their energy. We have to do those kinds of things. So I think as a leader, you've got to be aware of your weaknesses, and you've got to be aware of the things that you need to continue to work on. And that is one thing that I need to. I'm just like, oh, they're going to be great, and they're going to do this and this and this and this, and then I'm, they weren't so great. Okay, so now what do we do? But yeah, it's hard. It's really hard. And look, we've had some great people along the way. We've had some not so great people along the way. But it's like any business, I suppose, whether you own it or whether you work in it. There's good and bad in every situation, and it's just having those skills to be able to manage it, but also the ability to recognize it within your business, you know, and recognize it quickly before too much damage is done.
Yes. And you told me a story about the culture that you guys build in your team.
Yes.
Talk me through that.
So George.
Yeah.
So everybody's George. They probably think we're running some mafia cult. Look, it's something that Theo started, and I'd be like, what is this George rubbish? But he calls everyone George. He doesn't call anyone from their name. And so George is like the apprentice out the back, and George is also Theo. So there's, you know, this real team culture, camaraderie. The people that don't understand George, they don't normally last very long. Even the females, like, you know, we're all about female advocacy and female employment. They're George or Georgette if they get, you know. So yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's hard to describe, but when you come in and everybody's George, it just makes everybody on a level playing field, makes it fun, makes it a bit more spontaneous. You know, arguments can get quickly diffused because everyone's just going, yeah, but George, yeah, but George, yeah, but George.
My gosh. So funny.
And I recently built us a AI bot to help with some of our processing, like online, and I called it George.
Oh, that's
so now
good.
it really is. hey, George, what are you doing? Yeah.
How cool is that?
Yeah, yeah.
And have you been like self-taught in all of this?
Yes. So, look, I've always been a natural teacher. So I was a swimming teacher, I was a fitness instructor, I was a school teacher. And so I've always had like basic computer literacy, I'd say. And I have dyslexia. And so I suppose like one of my strengths is I can find different ways of doing things, right? Because if I don't know how to spell a word, I have to think of a different word. Or if I don't know what that says, I have to change the subject really quickly people aren't asking me to read something. So self-taught everything, literally, you know, into like setting up Microsoft 360 accounts in the back end of, Azure and those kinds of things. And self-taught with a lot of failure along the way. But hey, like once you make a mistake once, you don't make it again.
Yeah, exactly. And now Sandon.
Yes.
How did that all come about?
Okay, so Theo, obviously, you know, we were married when we started the business, so I always say it's ours, and it took me a really long time to say that. I remember I used to say, oh, my husband has this business and I just kind of help. And I was like, no, but I actually do a lot more than that. Yeah. All the systems and all the, back-end stuff. He's definitely the face of the business out there making the deals, but then he comes back and is like, just fix all this, Kate. So when it's his business really. EK Contracting is obviously mine and my Indigenous partner Glenn Rush's, but I was like, I need something for me. Like I need something that's just mine. I need a why. I need like a purpose. And teaching was obviously my passion. Sandon is a non-for-profit that I started so that I could give something back, but also for my children, Santos and Adonis. It's their name combined, and I want them to grow up, knowing that it's just as important to do big things. It's important to do little things and to advocate for those people that, might be struggling or wanting to change career or wanting to learn, regardless of their abilities. The mining, civil and transport sector can be for anyone if they're given the right tools, especially for females in these male-dominated industries. So look, we do lots of different networking events. We do resume writing courses. We did a female-only first aid course recently. We've been fortunate enough to get funding through the Road Safety Commission and also the Department of Communities. But look, the first year that I started Sandon, I applied for 2 grants and I didn't get anything, and it just kind of sat there. And I didn't have a lot of time and energy to put into it because obviously we're running the other businesses. The other 3 businesses. So then the second year I submitted the exact same grants and just changed the dates and got them. Wow. So look, and that's another, that goes back to the 90-10 rule. Hey, that,
sometimes it's your time.
Sometimes it's just timing, and just be, just because some people would perceive it as failure, other people would perceive it as just learning. Like, hey, okay, well, next time I'll improve this, I'll improve that. And then, that's where we've got. So this year, Sandon has also launched, and I was waiting for this to do it. Well, a travelling book club, right? And so basically, we've got a few different books in circulation. Let Them, Becoming Magnetic, and some other really self-powering, women advocacy books. And there's just like a little letter in the inside from me, that you're holding a book that's meant to travel from hand to hand, heart to heart. Each time it lands in the hands of a new woman, it grows richer with spirit, deeper with wisdom, and stronger with unity. And so this is for you to write your tagline in it, read it, and then pass it on to another woman. They're going to end up super tattered because, tattered with love. And we're just going to keep circulating them, and you never know where they'll end up, hopefully with some red dirt on the pages one day up in the Pilbara. So that is your gift.
I love it. Thank you
for having
Becoming Magnetic. I love it.
Yes. And every event that we have this year, we'll circulate some more books, and hopefully it becomes Sandon's little legacy. It's our giving back. It's our why, like why we do things,
So good.
Yeah.
And you guys have won a lot of awards recently.
Yes.
What talk me through some of them?
So the first award we ever won was back in 2021, and I was just Googling and I saw this thing called the WA Training Awards. I was like, hey, we've got apprentices. And I remember I rang them and I was like, we've got like a couple of apprentices and we do this. Do you think we should apply? And they're like, yeah. And then we won.
Wow.
And I remember thinking, oh my goodness, like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
So that was the first one we've won. We've won safety awards. We've won some civil awards. Recently, Theo won 40 Under 40 Business News Award.
So cool.
I've won Trainee of the Year Award before when I did my cert in civil supervision.
Nice.
Back in, what year was that? A long time ago, 2022. I needed to fast track, like being from teaching, I needed to fast track like how to write tenders and those kinds of things. So doing that traineeship really helped me do that. You know, anything like any award or grant, just go for it. That's, you know, my best advice. Just go for it. You never know what might happen. We haven't won a lot too. Sometimes I've thought, oh, we're definitely like we're a shoo-in and you know, there's been other people more worthy, of course. So look, and then there's been times where I'm like, I didn't think we would win and we have won.
Yeah.
So just try. And if it doesn't mean, if it's no this year, then try again next year, because it doesn't mean no forever. It just means not now.
So you and your husband have built multiple companies. You've started a non-for-profit. You're running a crazy family with 2 young boys, and, you know, you're all self-built. What advice would you have for somebody that was wanting to start their own business and one day be in a position like you guys?
Make friends with failure. No, just everybody says, oh, just try and give it a go. But in all honesty, if you do try, be prepared to fail, right? Be prepared that things won't go wrong. Be prepared that you have to have something that you love, right? So that even on your worst days, you can still be productive. So, for example, my outlet is I do all the business's social media. And so on my absolute worst days, I just go and make content. I'm like, I can't write a tender today. I can't fill in this form. Can't deal with people. I'm just going to shut my door. I'm going to make content, right? Because it makes me happy playing in Canva.
Yeah.
So have something that still will contribute, you know, to the growth, to the end goal, right? That makes you happy. Yeah. You know, have something that you can fall back on, because there will be days when you don't want to do it. There'll be days when you don't want to get out of bed. There'll be days where you're like, I just can't, if I have to tell one more person to stop doing something silly, I'm going to like lose my shit. Have something, that's my biggest advice. Have something that even on your worst day, you will want to do it.
That's so good advice, because I've been in that position lately that I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But yeah, the social media, the content.
Yeah, and look, it could be
such a big part of business these days.
Yeah, and it could be something that, you know, you enjoy playing, like updating your website. It could be that you enjoy going and meeting clients. Yeah. It could be that you enjoy jumping in a machine and driving it. You know, I think sometimes I know when Theo's having a bad day because he's out the back playing in a machine. Yeah. I'm like, something that is so good. So yeah, have something that you can do to still be productive even on your worst day. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And I can't wait to go out and see all the machines out in the yard.
Yes. Go for a tour out the back.
Exactly.
I don't play out there very often. I go out there and do safety observations and that's about it. But yes.
Perfect. Oh, thank you. And before we forget, how can people find you?
Yes. So Sandon is on LinkedIn and Facebook. So if you just Google Sandon WA INC at the end of it, or Kate Tsorvas. If you follow me, I can invite you to Sandon. Consolidated Group, Consolidated Transport and EK Contracting are all on LinkedIn as individual businesses, and Consolidated Group's on Facebook.
Yeah. Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.